Hello, hello. Welcome to painting. And today we are going to be painting Marvel's Crisis Protocol. So thanks for watching if you're watching. If not, this is just going to be me trying to speed paint this thing. There are 10 figures that come in the base game. So we got good old Captain America here. And I kind of pre-primed these guys, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Because every time I do this show where they're pre-primed, everyone asks me, how do you prime this stuff? So I'm going to show you how I do this. It looks kind of ugly now, but when the color goes on it, it's going to be cool. So we got Captain America. We got Black Widow. We got Captain Marvel. Whoa. We've got good old Spiderman. And we've got good old Iron Man, good old Drunky. And that's our 5 good guys. And then for our 5 bad guys, we've got Baron Zemo. We've got Crossbones. There's good old Crossbones there. We've got Ultron. We've got Doc Ock with his giant tentacles. And actually, he'll probably be super easy to paint. We'll show you how that goes. And we've got Red Skull. And my goal here is to try to get all of these painted in a couple of hours. So we're going to take a lot of shortcuts. A lot of people are going to complain that I'm a shitty painter, but that's cool because I'm just trying to get this on the table for you. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to prime these. And I have an extra figure, and you may recognize this guy as Frank Castle, otherwise known as the Punisher. And this is the way they come when you assemble them, you glue them, and they're just gray plastic, right? So what we're going to do is prime them. First, we're going to prime them with black paint. So I have this Citadel Abaddon black that I use. Shake it up. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so afraid to put paint on my model. Just slap it on. Just start painting them black. Whoa. Right? And the point is you want to don't glop it on so much that you're going to cover up any of the detail, especially these models are pretty detailed. So you want to be able to make sure that you can preserve some of those details. And you just want to make sure that there's no gray showing. And that's why I like these gray models. Sometimes they'll do like black plastic, and then when you black prime it, it's hard to tell if you actually hit it or not. Or sometimes the models will be kind of white plastic and you want to white prime it, and it's just too hard to tell if you actually covered it or not. The point is you definitely want the black on here for 2 reasons. The first is that you got to put primer on the plastic, otherwise the other paint won't stick to the plastic. But also, for me, the method I use here is to really get shadows. With miniatures, you're really looking for the highest amount of contrast you can get from shadows to highlights. That's how, because they're so tiny on the table that they you really need to simplify how they look on the table. So really it comes down to making sure that the crevices are really dark in shadow, and making sure that the bumps or whatever is on top is really highlighted in a lighter color. So the cool part about this, doing everything black to start, is that every crevice is ensured to be the blackest black you ever wanted. And then you can, lighten it up later if you want. Right, and then you can kind of see, it's amazing how sometimes you'll miss spots. Like you might miss little areas under the hand, or even like on its leg here. I don't know if you can see that. I kind of almost missed it. So I'm just going to make sure that it's a nice even coverage, and I think that is Punisher. And he's black. Fine black. So now we're going to wait for that to dry for a little bit. It normally takes about a good 5 minutes for that stuff to dry. So while we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to show you how to do the colors. And I think the This guy's going to be the biggest pain in our butt because he's got the most like alternating colors. Now, the beauty of this is a lot of people will just prime him white, and then they have to be very careful of how they intersperse the colors. But with this model, with this method, it's really cool because we have such great black crevices here that it almost makes it like a super easy coloring book for us to easily keep between the lines. So I think first we're going to start with our flesh color, and I always use good old Goldman Flesh. This is your go-to human flesh color. Because basically he's got a little face showing here. So we'll just put a little bit of this on his face. You can already see that it's pretty, that kind of dull white, really the colors kind of pop out. Yep. So you got some good color there. That's his face colored. All right. That's all the flesh we need for Captain America. Now we're going to move on to blue. I'm going to wipe off this brush here. And what do we want for this very bright American blue color? Well, I think we're going to use good old Talisar blue. And I use these contrast paints. The reason I use the contrast paints, Talisar blue, is because they're kind of like transparent paint. So I want to, when I paint on these guys, I want to preserve the shadows underneath, and I just want to put some color on top. So let's see, his chest is blue. So we're going to put some blue on his chest. And this, I'm not globbing it on because I want to preserve what's underneath. I'm just kind of putting a very light coat on there. I'm not so worried about the star in the middle. The star in the middle is going to be white, but I'm going to put some white on top of that as well. This little band here is his leather straps. So we're going to leave that open so it can be leather. And his chest area is kind of white, so we're going to leave that white. So we really just want to get this little kind of blue vest. It's got like a little blue vest going on. All right, and it looks like his pauldrons are also blue, and his arms are blue, but he's got red gloves and red boots. So we can just make the arms blue. You see, it's not hard to do. You just kind of slapping it on. I'll come back. There's like a white Avenger symbol on his pauldron there, but I can just paint white on it. That's the beauty of these. You can always paint over stuff. So if it's easier to just paint through, and then you can paint other paints on top of it, especially like with the darker paints, like what I should be doing here is just painting the whole thing blue. And then when I put the leather color on it, the leather will go over the blue pretty nicely, so we don't have to really worry about it. But I'm trying to be a little bit more careful here just because I want Cap to look cool. All right, that's going to be his little pauldron. Just like that, he's coming together. Yep, normally I think this is boring as hell for people, but if you guys are watching it, then I will do it. All right, so there's Captain America. He's got his blue shirt. Let's do a blue helmet. Let's see. Ted says, do you think the all-in for Marvel Zombies will be $750 or more? Yes, I do. I think right now the all-in with just the base is $450. They're going to have at least probably 4 expansions. So, and then you have to include shipping as well, right? So I think it'll be definitely in the 800 range with shipping. Now, like I said before, on the zombie side, I've got enough zombie side to probably make a land bridge from my apartment in Manhattan to Brooklyn. So I don't really think I need more zombie side game. I'll just go in on the figures that I want. So I'll definitely do the base game, because then you get the Kickstarter extras, because the Kickstarter extra box is really where you want to be. All right. And then if there's any extra characters that I really can't live without, like for me, it's Galactus, right? Let's see, his pants are blue too, so let's get the pants. So I'm kind of interested in the 450 pledge. I don't really need any of the other expansions yet. Or I might just end up doing the basic pledge and then adding a Galactus. Yep, we got a blizzard yesterday and it came right on through. And now it is done. And now there's just slush. So it's a total slush fest here in New York City. And it's still cold too. It's like 12 degrees or something crazy. All right, looks like his knee pads are not any different color, which is nice for us. So we can just make that all one color. Here's my rule of thumb. The less colors you can put on these things, the easier or the faster it's going to be to paint. Because the thing is too, like, I don't need a lot of color variation since I got these shadows in here that look so cool, right? So I don't need to really work so hard on making the model interesting. Yeah, I've got some focus issues here. So that is our blue, and I think that's everything that's blue that we need except for the top of the shield. So here inside the shield, there's a little bit of blue. And now you can see, this is the trouble with contrast paints, is that they make your brush kind of all crazy. So it's hard to get detailed when the brush is all spread out, or I guess frayed would be the word. All right, so just put a little blue in here. You see, this is the cool part about this, is that normally if this were all white, I'd be so stressing out about staying between the lines. But these lines are like black. I've got some really nice black dark lines here, so I don't really care about staying in the lines so much. And then if it pools too much, you can just kind of wipe your brush off and use the brush as a sponge to grab the excess paint off. And I'm going to paint white on top of this as well, so it looks kind of a mess now, but it'll get cleaned up in the final stages. All right, let's do the red. See, this looks like the Blue Beetle right now, but we want Captain America, so we need him to be red. We're going to do our standard red, bright red, which is this Blood Angels red. Blood Angels red. Yep. Definitely cold weather blows, but old people seem to like cold weather. So that's the right. So what are we doing here? So the outer and the center are red, and then this middle one is white. So we need to just do this, and even though it's should be pretty easy, this is the biggest one that you want to look your eye will be able to tell if it looks weird. So definitely want to be careful with the lines that you want to make. The cool part is this is really kind of going over that black primer that I put down. So I've got these really nice black lines in the crevices. So really, the idea here is it's kind of like I've got my own little, what do you call that, reservoirs or something outside the lines. So I can paint and the brush will kind of follow the line because we got this nice, like, defined dark line. All right. Hey, Red Hood is here, and yes, this is live, and this is just Tom fucking around on a Sunday painting Marvel Crisis Protocol. All right, I'm going to put my nerd glasses on so I can get a little bit more. Just make sure I'm hitting the... All right, because this is probably the hardest part of the whole thing. That's why I wanted to do Cap first. Because this shield is a pain in the ass. If it looks not super clean lines, then it'll look like a retard did it. And so you definitely want to make sure the lines are clean. Yes, Ted and Red are the standard. You guys are the coolest. Someday, anytime you guys come to New York, you'll have to come and play all these cool miniature games. All right. Now is about the time that I'm taking this too seriously, and I should just throw it on. All right. No one's winning any awards. Let's just get it done. We want to get it on the table. I got 9 more of these effing things to paint. Let's get it done. All right. I give you permission not to feel bad if it looks bad. All right, there we go. Not bad for just screwing around. All right, and then, yeah, let me make sure the edges are covered. I'm going to put a little bit of like a silver on it to make it look like metal, but I'll even paint the inside of this red. It'll get a silver later, but I guess you can't really see that. That just makes it so it's not just black inside there. All right. But the good news is his gloves are red. So let's make him some red gloves. Just slap it on. All right, because we can clean that up later. All right, we just want to get him to the table. All right, so maybe that's a little bit too gloppy. I glopped it on a little bit, but this is cool because I'm gonna put some white on this, and then I'm gonna actually put like a metal, just a little metal dry brush on it to make it look kind of metallic. So I don't think I'm worried so much about it being so textured. All right, let's do his other glove. See, there's no like, you don't need to be have perfect brush control or anything. You can just paint it right on. That's the beauty about when you do it this priming way, is that you can, the color is really just going over the shade that you made before. So, so really, it's the shadows that are doing all the work. All you're really doing is throwing color on top of your shadows. which is cool. And there you go. There's one glove down. Yeah, the only trouble I have with this is that normally people do this priming method with a airbrush. I do it with the dry brush, and actually Citadel makes a dry brush compound that makes it look really textured. So sometimes it does look a little rough. And so if you don't want it to look so rough, then you might not want to go full on this kind of getting your shadows from dry brush, or at least the dry brush stuff I use, which I'm going to show you in a minute, is more like a powder. And I think that's why you get kind of this gritty, I guess gritty would be the word, gritty look to it. But for these guys, I like it because it's, you know, they've been fighting in the city. They got dirt and grime all over them. They should look rough and worn. Ted says, when my copy of Batman The Dark Knight Returns game arrives, can I send you all the minis to paint? Yeah, that'd be fun. Or at least what I do is a lot of times with those types of games, like I have the Batman Gotham City Chronicles, and I still need to finish painting it. But what I'll do is I'll take out all the models that are needed for a specific scenario. So that'll make it more manageable to paint them, because then you're only painting like 10 at a time, right? You're only doing like a couple of heroes and a couple of villains, or, you know, maybe 10 monster minis and 2 heroes or something. Yep. Hey, Best of Star Trek is here. All right, so yeah, this is it. This is just getting into the table, folks. It's not anything that anyone's going to be like, wow, that's the greatest paint job ever. But, you know, it's easy. And what did it take me? 20 minutes to get there? All right, that's all the red. Let's do his leather. For leather, we can do one of two things. I actually have a paint here called a snake bite leather, which is really nice kind of leather look. And then I can also use the fur, the Gorgrunta fur. But Gorgrunta fur ends up looking really dark a lot of times. So, but you'll see kind of the color difference. And maybe I'll show you this. I'm gonna show you what this is, the leather, what the leather looks like, and I'll just put it on the belt. But I'm going to make the pouches the fur, so you can see kind of the difference in the colors there. So you can see this this leather looks kind of like almost like a tan than a leather. But then let me show you the Gorgrunta fur, because the Gorgrunta fur almost always looks more like a leather. Like if you're doing fantasy figures and you want like leather pouches and stuff, whoa, then Gorgrunta fur is where you want to go. All right. And then you can see the difference side by side. So this is the leather, and then this is what the Gorgrunta fur is going to look like. You can see it looks so much more like actual leather, right? I'm gonna have to, before I go to the next model, I'm gonna have to put a manual focus on this camera, because I didn't realize that the camera is going out of focus a lot. All right. Leather straps, ho! Oh, Best is watching with the sound off. That's probably a smart thing, because this is boring as hell. It's like, it's literally watching paint dry. You guys are literally watching paint dry. But you wanted it, here it is. Normally I just try to run through these myself so I don't have to bore anybody. But hey, you know, I'm hanging out on a Sunday. You guys are hanging out on a Sunday. What more could anyone ask? All right, I'm just going to get those colors on there. And yep, I try to, I mean, the reason I don't normally do shows is that I really like to, I think I'm faster when I'm not talking all the time or have to talk through stuff. And I just want to get this stuff done. But, you know, then how are you guys going to learn how to do this yourself? All right, so there is his leather stuff. You know, I just didn't like that snake bite at all, so I just painted right over it because it looks better if you just do it. Same thing. All right, one last bit. I forgot to put the red. He's got like little red things in his center area, so I'm going to crack the red back out. Yeah, red I pretty much exclusively use, and this is actually a good time to show the priming method because I've got good old Punisher here, and I just painted him black. So this is just straight up Abaddon black. And what I do is, and my method is that I want to do the shadows first. So basically I want to make a black and white figure first that looks good in shadow. And then I just put color on it. So all the contrast paint is really how I add color, but I'm just putting the color on top of the shadows. So to do this, the first thing we do is we put a gray dry brush on there. And so I use this Citadel Mix specific dry brush paint. And you can see the difference is that it looks kind of dry inside. It's not actually like liquid paint. They do this to, I guess, so you can save money on not wasting a lot of paint when you dry brush. And also, you know, this is great. I hope people watch this because I've heard on BGG, a lot of people complain about, oh, I don't know how to dry brush. I can't dry brush very well, or I don't get how to do it. These dry brush paints are really cool because they're easy to use. Because you don't have to worry about, a lot of times when you have real paint on here, you have to dry it and dry it and dry it on a towel and until you literally get almost no paint. So it's a little bit more of an art to figure out when to not dry. But this stuff you can pretty much just dip your, and I guess I'm just using like one of these eyebrow brushes you can get at I got this at Walmart, or not Walmart, Walgreens. It's just this Eco Tools. They're, you know, ladies' makeup brushes, but they look good. And this is a really great size for miniatures. And you just kind of take here and you just kind of do back and forth on the brush like this. You don't have to do it a lot with this paint because with normal paint, you have to dry brush and dry brush till you get stuff going. But with this dry brush paint, it's really easy. And then all you have to do is on the model, you're just going to kind of, I always think about it as going to the car wash. Pretend these are the bristles in your car wash, and you're just like bloop, 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 bloop. And you're just putting it on the model until you can kind of see the gray come on the model, right? And so you want to preserve, and it's okay for the brush to actually touch the model because at the end of the day, there should be really no paint on directly on the bristles. It's kind of buried in the bristles. Yeah. Yep. Makeup brushes are the best. And you can normally get them for like 50 cents on, or cheaper if you go to like your, what do you call it? Drugstore or that kind of thing. And this is what I do. I just kind of make sure that it's gray. And so you know, it's very subtle with the gray. You know, you can put a little bit more on than not, but at the end of the day, what I want to do is I want to preserve that I'm still keeping a lot of black areas, especially in crevices. Until I get something that looks like this. It's, you know, I still have a very black area, but everything that is raised is going to have this kind of nice raised look. And you can kind of see between his chin and his chest, it looks really dark there. So what I might do is kind of just go in a little bit heavier because I don't want it to be so dark where his... And also another trick I do is instead of doing like a flicking motion, I do a circular motion because that'll capture a lot of the raised areas more than just doing it one way. Because like in this case, like these raised areas, if I do it this way, I'm not really going to catch it. But if I do it this way, I'm going to catch it. But this raised area, if I do it this way, I'm going to catch it. And this way, I won't. So if I do a circular motion, I'm going to catch it all. Right? And then that's it. So now that I've got the gray on, then I just follow it up with a white. And again, I have good old Citadel makes a dry brush called Rack White. This is my go-to white. Yep, and you can use just another brush if you want. I'm just going to wash this one off and use the same brush because why not? Right, and then I'll just take this napkin I used and invert it. So now I have another side I can use. I'm going to put it in the white until I see a bunch of white on my brush. I'm going to dry brush it off. Another thing you might want to do with the, you'll notice I kind of spin the brush when, so that way I can make sure, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll dry brush it great on one side and then a big glop will come off on the other side, and you don't want that to happen. So you just want to make sure that this stuff is dry. And also you can do this on your, I use gloves all the time, and you can kind of look to see on the glove how it's going to, if it comes off gloppy, then you know you haven't dried it enough. But literally, you shouldn't be scared about it. It's super easy to do. Now the white gets a little bit more subtle. You don't want to apply it so heavily, but it'll really make it pop. This is what I call the pop. Because basically, you'll just kind of start putting it on, and it'll really make the stuff come out on the model, right? And again, I'm kind of doing like a circular motion, right? Just like that, we got the Punisher, everybody, right? And so this is kind of your basic, I call it two-tone highlighted miniature. A lot of people will just do black and then put white right on the black. And you can do that, but for me, I think there's more depth here. If you can see the white and the gray and the black. Right, so this is him, and now what I'll do is if I'm going to not color him and just leave him black and white, I'll just leave it like this because it looks really cool black and white, and this gives you your shadow tones, right? It totally says where the highlights are and where the darks are. But this is way too dark for skin. When I put the flesh color on it, it's going to be way too dark. So one last thing that I will do is I will actually take the primer that I use for priming figures, which is Wraith Bone base color. Shake it up real good. Oh no, this got dried out. I need a new one. Wraith Bone backup. Uh-oh, Cindy's on here. Oh my goodness.
Cindy?
Yes, your friend Cindy is here.
Uh-oh. I can say hi real quick.
Yeah. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Wraith Bone and I'm going to put it kind of everywhere where I really want the color to be super vibrant, which is going to be his skin areas. So his face, really, we want to lighten up. And it looks like his arms are kind of bare here. So we definitely want to make sure to lighten his arms way up. And you definitely want to get the Punisher skull in the center of his area. And this kind of just lightens the whole thing up, so it makes it not so dark, but the colors will really pop when you get it on him, right? So, and again, I'm just doing these circular motions. I want to make sure that I get his face should be really white, because he's going to be, when we put the flesh color on his face, you don't want, I mean, human shadows don't typically look black, but pants shadows look black, right? So you want to keep it super dark, maybe on his pants, but on his, definitely skin has to be super lightened up. So I'm definitely just doing that on the skin.
You need anything?
Right. And that's it. And that's what I'll do. And that's how these guys end up looking like this too, because they're good. Oh, look, Diana's
Whoa,
here.
where am I? Hi.
Whoa.
Where's Cindy? Hi, White. Uh-oh. Hi,
Cindy's
White.
in the
Uh-oh.
chat. Oh, she's in
This
the
is the best
Facebook
possible
chat.
way I could use this as a sleep story. Oh, go to
Mhm.
sleep. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Glad you're watching Tom.
Mhm.
And it's hypnotic. I love it.
That's right.
Yes, Tom is dreamy.
Whoa.
You got that right. Okay, bye. Do you need anything?
No.
Okay. Okay, bye. Bye. Happy Sunday, you guys.
All right. So that was the priming method.
Oh, do you need to focus or something?
No, it's cool. We're going to come back to Captain America now. We got to get him done, and we just need to put some red in his center area. So we're going to come back here and take some red paint. And what has he got? He's got one in the little, this area. It's red. Yep. Time for me to put on my nerd glasses. Super zoom. This is red. All right. And then we're going to, don't worry about this line being weird, because I'm going to put white on top of it. All right. Let's go back to blue and just clean up this blue a second. Oops. Yeah, it's so horrible how blind I am. All right, just going to clean that blue up. That's right, make sure it's cool. All right, so we're just going to put some white on this, and then we're going to put some silver touches, and Captain America is done in basically half hour, but really 20 minutes. All right, so for white, I have a new go-to white that I use. Because with any of these, you want to have a, yeah, here it is, my white scar. These layer paints are great because the layer paints, they're not as transparent as contrast paints, but they will go on top of things pretty easy. They'll still like show what's underneath. What game is has my favorite miniatures or were favorite to paint? Well, so far, actually, the game that I don't play enough of, but I feel really awesome about the paint job I did, was for the Mezzo game. Mezzo is a really great game. They have really cool miniatures. And yeah, I may end up showing you guys those later. All right, so we're going to do some surgery on him by putting some white where white needs to go. So we need some white on his star. Come on, dude. White star. I'm trying not to erase so much white. You guys see that? Yeah. All right, white belly. Yeah, I think you have to, does this white go all the way around? I think it does. So let's just do some more white this way. I don't know if you can see there, but there's a little clump of paint that's no good. Trying to get it off. So yeah, not the greatest, but you know. What can you do? Yep, so we'll probably end up putting some wash on that to make it not so... It's a little too white now. But again, it's just for the table. We'll see what happens. All right, let's try the shield. We get some more white for here. Yep, I'm just dabbing it on. Make sure it stays in the lines. Point here is you just want to get it so it looks good from a distance. All right, let's get some. This center ring is going to be the trouble because this is not a contrast paint. So I got to be really careful to make sure I don't go over the lines on this one. All right, you can see that. And I don't really have to worry too much about, I mean, there's already a white undercoat. So I'm really just using this to kind of brighten it up. Yeah, I'm totally fucking it up. That's okay, because this white paint is kind of clumpy. But I'm, I always get hard-headed about pushing through. Like normally you should stop and reshake your paint and mix it right. And I'm going to show you all the bad things to do. Me, I just like to push through. Because the other thing I'm going to do here, and I probably should have done it the other way around, but I'm going to put a little bit of a silver on this. So I'm hoping the silver will kind of cover up any of my mistakes. That's the beauty about speed painting. You don't have to worry so much about it. All right, now you see, I think I just got one kind of, this is the only place that I've kind of screwed up my line here. So thing, I have a X-Acto knife. This is my secret weapon in the cause. And I can basically go here in the X-Acto knife and kind of just get that white out of that crack. That's one way to clean up lines. You don't have to actually paint it. You just X-Acto knife it away. All right, we just need a little bit white here. I do like this white paint, but it goes on really heavy, so it's really hard to control. Thank goodness there are no other white characters in this stupid thing. All right, Captain America, he's coming up on time to be finished because we got 9 more characters to do. I'm not going to be here all day. All right. Nerd glasses. Disengage. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do some metal now, just to finish him up because I'm kind of done with him. So for metal, we always use our Rune Fang steel. And we're going to do a couple of things. First, we're just going to paint his little belt buckle because I'm pretty sure he's got a belt buckle that is silver. So let's just paint his belt buckle. Dun, dun, dun. Belt buckle, silver. It's about as easy as it can be. Yeah. And then we're gonna figure out the shield. So for the shield does this. It's basically like a kind of a stripe highlight. So my idea is maybe I can just do something like this to kind of simulate that it's metal. Right, and I might take a little dry brush and just put it over the whole thing. All right, so this is my silver dry brush, just super light. I'm just gonna lightly put it on top of this shield. Oops. All right. So it's definitely got silver on it now. So I don't know if you can really see in the camera, but it's got a little bit of iridescence. But now I'm going to put some more color on top of that, just to brighten it up. But the contrast paints will hopefully show the silver underneath. Yeah, you know what? I'm of the mind. I'm a speed. I like to get stuff painted with speed, so I like to use stuff out of the pot. I don't want to have to spend extra time thinning things or doing extra things. So I think for me, the only time I actually ever mix anything is if I'm mixing specific, like if I need to get a whiter highlight color than what I already have, then I'll Then I'll mix white in with the color that I'm trying to mix. But I really don't like to have to mix stuff. I like to use it out of the pot if I can, because it's just faster that way, you know. I think my silver experiment didn't work out so well. It definitely looks, the silver is definitely showing through underneath, but it's not, the lines are not as clean as I would like them to be. But I'll fix it up. I'll fix it in post, as they say in the TV world. The trouble with this red too is it goes on really thick, so you got to kind of, if you just want a light thing, you got to kind of spread it around. To Ted's point, maybe I should have watered it down a little bit more, but for me, I just like to get it on there. All right, so it's kind of, it looks shitty on camera, but it looks cool in person because it definitely, you can see the metal underneath the color. But I'll clean that up a little bit later. I think we're done with Cap. Let's go on to the next one, shall we? All right. I think maybe somebody that we would like to do is Spider-Man, because who doesn't love Spider-Man? So let's just make sure. It's funny how you think you know these people, but when you actually have to paint them, then you're like, what color is this he again? Here he is, Spider-Man. All right, Spider-Man is a red and blue with white eyes. So we definitely want to, yeah, so we're going to do a lot of red. Red boots, red chest, red hands, and red head. I got my red out, so let's give it a shot. All right, let's just make them red. Red, red, red. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint his whole head red, and we'll do the eyes and stuff later. Right, definitely want to be careful with this because you don't want to lose the shadows that you made underneath, but this red is really heavy, so you know, whatever you can do. All right. Right, and here's something they don't tell you. What about the back? Well, the back, I'm pretty sure, is blue. So we just want this kind of cowl thing to be. It needs to be. All right. The other thing, too, is these paints, they go on kind of wet, and you're like, oh, man, that doesn't look the way I want it to look. And then when it dries, you're like, oh, that looks really cool. So you definitely want to kind of get to know your paints, too, of what they look like when they're wet versus dry. Yeah, Red Hood, he says, I like for red, I do orange first, then put the red on it. That's typically for red skin, because red skin is not always, red skin is basically not red. I mean, I don't know anyone that has pure red skin, whereas Spider-Man's outfit is a red outfit, so that's why if it's actually a red outfit, then putting red on is going to be okay. But it also depends on the actual color tones. If you're looking for something lighter colored, then yes, orange is a better mid-tone to red. Yep, again, we're just slapping this paint on. He's got red, he's got his red web shooter hands. Right, now I'm completely confused about what his back looks like, but we're going to look him up in a second. Yeah, also painting the blood. Blood is definitely pretty thick. And so you definitely want to just be careful in the application of it, because also it will, if it touches anything else, you can't paint over it. I typically have a rule that I always paint the lighter colors first and then the darker colors after, because I can always paint over the lighter colors with a darker color, and the darker color will go right over it. Red is definitely a darker color, so you can't really paint over red. So whenever you paint red, you're going to have to, if you mess up painting, you're going to have to repaint that area white, because you won't ever be able to paint over the red. Right, that's cool. There's his little boots. Boots done, everybody cool, everybody's happy. You just look for spot checking. Sometimes there's like little areas you might miss, or especially the contrast paints. The contrast paints will pool, and when they pool in certain areas, what you painted on will actually come off, because the pooling is going to make it go a certain place. Yeah, I think this belt is red too, so I'm just going to make that red. So piece of cake. That is good old red Spider-Man. Oh, wait, he's not. Oh, yeah, the spider on the back's red too. Thank you for reminding me. Red. Piece of cake. All right, let's crank out our blue. And it's the same blue as we used for Captain America. Good old Talisar blue. So you can see, you can pretty much, even though I have a lot of contrast paints for a lot of different scenarios, you kind of go to the same ones a lot. Here's good old Talisar blue. Now, sometimes you want to be careful, especially with the red paint. Sometimes the red paint takes a little longer to dry. And then when you start putting wet blue paint on wet red paint, they'll mix together. And that'll be a cool effect when you actually want to do blending. But if you don't want to blend, then you definitely want to wait for it to be drier. All right. It's not going to be hard to cover the eyes, because we're not going to use contrast paints for the eyes. We're going to use straight up primer for the eyes. So we'll just go back to normal for eyes. And the tricky part with the eyes is that he's got little like black rings around his eyes too. So not only are we going to have to paint the eyes white, We're also going to have to make these like black rings around the eyes, which is going to be a pain in the ass. All right. Pants are done. You can see that with this method they do end up coming out a lot darker. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll add highlights at the end just to lighten the whole thing up. Because sometimes these get too dark. Whoops, sorry. But ultimately what you're trying to do is just make sure your shadows are preserved and your colors are the colors that you want. So in this case, we got blue and red for Spider-Man, and it works pretty well. Yeah, and you're up and running in no time. All right. Yeah, and this is about the time when real miniature painters will get on and go, man, that looks like shit. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm just trying to get to the table, people. And all you really want is some nice shadows and some nice color, and it'll look cool. Sure, I could spend 10 hours highlighting this thing and bringing out all of the features or accentuating features, but, you know, at the end of the day, we just want to get this thing to the table. And it looks cool. No, it's rough for sure. It's rough and ready, but all right. Just doing our last. We want to make sure there's no white spots. Everything has color. All right, that's cool. He's got a little red touch up on his chest, and then we'll do his eyes, and I think he's ready to go. 1 hour in, and we've got 2 figures, and I primed Punisher. It's not bad. All right. So let's do his eyes. So I think what I'm going to do, since I don't want to like be super detailed in getting the black, what we're going to do is we're going to paint the eyes black first. Just with straight up black. All right, and I'm going to put on the nerd glasses. Whoa. All right, that's one eye blackened. That's right, I'm giving Spider-Man black eyes. Those eyes. Doo-doo-doo. All right. Maybe a little too much, but we got our black eye shapes. Let me also, the spider on his front is black also, so I might as well just do that. All right. You know it's serious business when I can't talk. That's good. All right, let's now we're going to go back to our Wraithbone primer. I don't like to do super white for the eyes. I like to do this eggshell kind of white, and that's what this primer normally looks like. So let me see if I can get a tinier brush to do the white eyes. Don't really have a lot of tiny brushes. I need to get some new brushes, but all right, let's see what we can do. All right. See that? Get in there. Yeah, this brush is kind of too big, but what can you do? It's too much. Let's see if I can't. I think I have one smaller brush, maybe. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Now we got it. Now we got it. Yeah, right. Spiderman is quicker. Pretty easy. As you keep the colors simple. All right, that's the toughest part. But you know, eyes are the thing of the models that you want to highlight the most. So definitely want to make sure that they're not the ugliest part of the model. Because people are going to tend to look at the eyes. All right. About now is when I'm like, you know what? I spent too much time on this, but definitely want the eyes to look good. All right. Good enough, people. Let's I'm going to show you guys how to do this base a little bit right now. And you'll also see how there's like some streaks in the red here. That's because it pooled, and I might have to put another coat of red on there really quick just to make sure the spottiness gets covered up. But here you can see he's like standing on a beam or something. So here's my trick for this kind of stuff. Anything steel or metal, we always use a gray contrast paint. Oops, my contrast brush. Here it is. I don't need the nerd glasses anymore. All right, yeah, so here we go. We're just going to put some gray on this bad boy, like so. It preserves that shadow, but it's going to allow us to dry brush silver onto this thing, because silver is a really light colored paint, and it needs something to stick onto, so it really looks good when you put it on black. But in this case, gray, especially this basilicum gray, is really the best way to do anything silver. It'll look really cool, because it's not black. If you just do straight up black, I used to do all my silver by painting it full black and then putting the silver on top of black. But even then, it you can see right now it even sort of looks like silver, even though I don't have any silver on there at all, right? So I think the end of the day is you want to have more gray than black to pull off the complexity of the depth of the shadows. All right. So unfortunately, we have to wait for that to dry before we put the silver on it. So let me just come back and do another pass of red to clean up this these silly arms and stuff. Wherever I see kind of holes, because he does have like these little indents in his suit, and so the paint it'll go into the indents, and then it will wherever I had the paint originally will kind of empty, and it'll make this kind of pitting or just splotchiness. So you just want to clean it up by putting some, making sure that every bit of the model is covered with paint. You don't want white. You don't want to see white shining through, basically. All right. You see I went a little too much on the eyes. The black got lost a little bit. So maybe we'll put some little black on his eye really quick. Then we'll put some silver, and then we're on to the next one. How's that sound? All right. I'm glad you guys don't mind me babbling. I'm going to put these dark glasses back on. But yeah, it's just lazy Sunday painting Marvel figures. What else can you do with your life, right? Just make sure that. Oops. Yeah. Make sure that's in the frame, people. Right, just don't. The messages, don't be afraid to mess up. It's just plastic. If you can get it to look cool with minimal effort, why would you do it any other way? Cool. All right, we will file that under good enough. Let's just throw some silver on there real quick. Just now it's sort of dry. Let's see, that's a good. Oops, where's my dry brush? Here it is. Now here's a tricky part when we're doing this. I'm basically I want silver on this thing, but I don't want silver on him. So you just want to be careful how you do it. And that's normally going to be the type of brush that you use. I'm still going to use this big old makeup brush, because the makeup brushes, when you dry brush stuff, you definitely want to have the largest surface area that you can have, because it'll cover the most area of what you want to do, and it just makes it look smoother. If you have a teeny tiny brush, it's going to make it more like a smaller area where the paint is going to get applied. But with these bigger brushes, it'll really apply to the whole thing. So this way, we're just going to do a couple of dabbly brushes. All I'm trying to do is get like a little metallic effect on this thing. It's not like I'm trying to paint the whole thing silver, because it already looks sort of silver because it's kind of grayish. So we're just gonna kind of do this, kind of brush it. I don't want it to be completely silver. I just want it to have silver kind of feel. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2. That's pretty much it. Now it looks like Spider-Man is on a steel girder. All right, cool. Spider-Man done. Let's get some new paper towels. And who's our next hero in line? I think the easiest, or I'm hoping the easiest one, is going to be Black Widow. Here's Black Widow. Because we should just be able to paint her black, right? Right? How easy is this going to be? We just need her to have red hair. We're going to give her some skin color. We're going to give her gold belt and bracers, but everything else is black. All right, so again, I'm going to start with the flesh. Oh, Red Hood used to paint Flames of War. Yeah, I think that's a tank game, right, Red Hood? Yeah, the tank painting can get a little crazy for sure. Because there's all of this rust. I mean, to get a really good rust color, you definitely want to have to do a bunch of different stuff. So we're going to start with this Goldman Flesh. Let's do it. Goldman Flesh me, and we're going to just put it on her. Put it on everywhere she has skin. Might have put that on a little too heavy, but... And that is the only place she has exposed skin. You would think her arms or hands would be real, but it's actually... It's actually all black gloves. All right, so that's that. Probably going to put some flesh highlights on that just because it does look kind of dark. But we'll fix it later. All right, next thing is her hair. She has red hair, but hair is organic, which means that red hair actually looks kind of orange. So we're going to use our Griffhound orange to make it happen. All right. Come on, orange here. Now with the contrast paint, this orange, actually, the reason I like to use this orange is because it, in the shadows, it kind of has a red tinge to it. Now, just like Hellboy or anybody else, we may end up putting a little bit of red tinges into that after this dries, and that'll sell the effect that it's actually red hair. Right, but definitely the mid-tone on hair or flesh is going to be more orange than red if it's red. And in fact, while we got the orange out, we might as well take a look at Red Hood. Not Red Hood, Red Skull. Red Hood is on the chat. And we're just going to paint his skull. because I'll come back with red on this later, but at the end of the day, if we're doing red, then this is our red, right? All right, that's all we need for orange. Yeah, that's the thing. Painting can be, it's definitely a chore, but you get immediate results, especially with these contrast paints. So that's why it's pretty cool. Now, here's the thing. This is why I think this is going to be so easy to paint, because we're going to paint her all black. And these are going to be gold, but gold goes really well on top of black. So we can just paint the whole thing black and not have to worry about it. And then we're going to put the gold on top of her black. Typically, I don't use the actual black. There's a contrast paint called Black Templar that we're going to use. Typically, I'll do grays, but in this case, since she is Black Widow and her suit is really black. See, the trouble is I don't want to lose these little subtle highlights that I have that I made with my stuff, but it's probably going to get lost anyway. But we definitely want her suit to be black, so we're going to put this Black Templar on. Now, the cool part is it's still a contrast paint, so it's going to, you know, it's not going to cover everything, but it'll cover enough. All right. That's like so. I just want to. Right, so the Black Templar is going to make its own like cool shadows and stuff, but as much as I can try to preserve the shadows I've made, I'll do. But at the end of the day, this Black Templar actually looks better if you glop it on. So I may have wasted my time making my own shadows, but we'll see. Again, when this stuff dries, it'll be different. The other thing with the contrast paints, you want to make sure they go on smooth. Sometimes you'll see streaking and stuff. And when you see streaking, what I'll typically do is kind of do quick strokes like this. I'll like flutter the paintbrush, because then that'll ensure that the paint is not like settling. It's basically moving in a straight line. The only trick when you do that with the paintbrush is sometimes the paint will flick all around, so you want to make sure you're not next to models you're working on. Otherwise, you'll get paint flicks all over the model. All right, but I mean, this is about as simple as it gets. Black Widow is all black. Right, she should literally be 5 seconds. All right, and then I'm just looking to see if anything pooled that it is going to cause like white to show through, but I think we're looking pretty good. So now the only other thing is she's on this kind of metallic base, and we know that metal likes gray, so we're going to put some gray on the base just to lighten it up. Here's the silicone gray. I love how these labels just rip off. Yep, and we'll just liberally apply it on the base. Trying to not to touch her. Oh, and it does look like there's some like brickwork here, so maybe I will put some red on there to make it look like City Street or something. I'll add some interest. Could look dumb. Let's find out. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Again, I just kept it light so the shadows still show through underneath. There we go. Well, hey, now that I got the red out, let's do, we're going to just put some red on this hair. Because, you know, this is basically red hair, but we're going to give it a little bit of, it's almost like a dry brush. I'm taking this brush, I'm just wiping it off. I'm just going to put some, kind of get it on the ends. I'm just making the hair, trying to make the hair a little bit more red. I don't want to glop it on. I'm just kind of giving it a little tone, you know? But the orange is my highlight, so I definitely want to keep that orange. So I'm just kind of putting some red on the ends. Right, and then I do the same thing with Red Skull here. It's definitely just going to get like a red, almost like a red wash. Right, not sure how well you can see that, but basically, if I just put this as a red glop, he would look as dark red as Spider-Man. But definitely, it's more a natural color. All right, one last thing to do. Well, actually, two last things to do for Black Widow. First thing is flesh. We need to give her some better flesh color, and thank goodness we have our good old Kislev flesh. This is a layer paint, and it goes on top because basically we made her skin too dark. Let me shake this up a little bit better. All right. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some flesh color on her. I'm going to put my nerd glasses on because her face is tiny. Nerd glasses unite. All right, and so what I normally do is I'm going to end up painting her whole face, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that her nose and her cheeks, just lighten up this whole thing. It's kind of like putting on makeup. I want to still preserve some of the shadows in her eye sockets and stuff, and her lips. She got really dark. Whoops, sorry, I can't. Yeah, this brush is no good. Need a new brush. Because at the end of the day, human beings don't have that much contrast in their skin tones, especially women have smoother tone, so it's going to be smoother overall. So typically just lighten the whole thing up. While still keeping, sometimes this paint gets gloppy. Yep, so it's not the greatest. I just highlighted the skin tones a little bit. Now I'm probably going to come back and put another Goldman Flesh on it so I can get more natural flesh shadows. The trouble with all of these that I've noticed is, you know, I haven't been painting that long, is that with my priming technique, like I mentioned, the dry brushing makes like this powdery kind of textured surface. And for me, it's great for textures, but it's really horrible for skin. So I think in the future what I'm going to do is just anytime I want to have like female skin or skin that's a straight skin tone that doesn't want texture on it, I might just paint that white and cover it up so I don't have to, so it'll remain smooth. Because the trouble on this, and why a lot of like paint painters will say, man, this looks horrible, is that, you know, it doesn't look smooth because it's got a texture. I've textured the the face, you know, so it's just part of the trouble and part of the process of figuring out your own method. But which is why I prefer painting monsters than actual people. All right, cool. I think let me just put a little flesh on her now. What I'll do is you'll see now what I did was I ended up just giving her a nice like skin tone, but there's no shadows in her face anymore. So I'm just going to come here and put a little of this just in her eyes. Actually, that's a little too much. And then it'll kind of soak into the eye sockets. That makes the eye sockets more preserved or pronounced. I might put a little under that area too. Kind of under the nose. On the lips. All right, and then I might, that's going to dry a different, like it looks really like a zombie right now, but when it dries, it'll be, it'll match more with the skin tone and it'll just look like shadows. This is where you got to trust the drying process. All right, cool. Let's just get our gold now. So for gold, I have this really great Auric Armor Gold. let's see, what do we need to paint gold? We need definitely her little gauntlet things. All right, gauntlet time. Oops, where is she? There she is. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just kind of getting the little cylinder things, but still leaving some kind of black underneath. It's more like a dry brush than anything else. All right, there she is, gold bracer number 1. Gold bracer number 2. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways you could do this. I'm kind of doing a combination of flicking the brush this way so I make sure I only get the tops and keep the crevices, but also kind of in going this way on the tops to make sure that they have even coverage. All right, that's pretty good. We got our gold stuff. Now we need our gold belt. This can be a little bit more. I think the center piece is like a circle. It's I'm sort of doing it like a dry brush. Piece of cake. All right, and then her gun holster thingy. Gun holster, the whole holster is gold. Just do that. And her little straps. All right. All right, and then finally, maybe we'll just put a little silver on this floor base. She's done. I might end up fixing her, evening the skin tones on her face a little bit because it is a little bit dark, but I'll typically come and do that stuff after the fact. As like a final cleanup. There you go. That stuff is silver. Another thing we can do is this silver makes a neat highlight too. It's super subtle, but if you want to, like, you notice like she's got, it's really black in these areas. I can kind of just, I mean, if you put too much, it's going to look like she's wearing plate mail or something, but just a little bit will give it a little shine. And what I'm trying to do is make the suit look shiny. So it's really almost like a white dry brush, but if you put too much, it'll look silver, and then it's, you don't want her to be wearing silver. So just gives it a little highlight. All right, there is Black Widow. 2 heroes left to go. And I think we should do Iron Man. Because Iron Man is going to be our tricky thing. You would think you would want to put metals on this guy. We might want to put metals on him. Metal meaning metal paint. What are we really looking at here color-wise? Red, gold face, gold underarms, everything else is red. But it's red metal. Right, so how do we want to do this? So I think we definitely just want to paint him red. I've tried doing a red on top of a metal, and it doesn't look so great. I mean, I think we've learned our lesson from the Captain America shield that it doesn't, look as cool as we thought we would want. So, yeah, let's just go straight up red on his, pretty much all of his armor. And I can do a little metal highlighting. Oops. Yeah. Brush. And here we go. What do we need? Chest is definitely red. Let's just get red on that bad boy. Wow, I never noticed how many of the Marvel superheroes basically have red and blue or red and gold schemes. These are pretty easy to do too. It's mainly all red with just a little bit of gold. Red, red, red. Yep. So this is the fun. So I guess he doesn't have a red helmet. It's just his face that is gold. Let me shake up this red. It's getting kind of dry. Yeah, you can totally see in these crevice areas when I put the contrast paint in, it kind of pools into those areas, and then wherever I have the contrast paint on the surfaces, it lost the paint. So we definitely want to just make sure, double check that there is coverage. You don't want white specks all over your model. Oops. Really need to get better at making sure stuff is on camera. Otherwise, why are you guys even watching? All right, so that's that. That's that. This goes like that. this thing that's going to go like that. Yep, that's cool. And he's got red hands, so let's just do red hands. Wow, these things are pretty easy. Yeah, that's the trouble when I oh, Steph is here. Give him plenty of blood, yeah. Okay, let's see. I think his only his knees are gold, so I can pretty much do his whole thing red, and the gold will go over the red really easily, I think. So, so I'm just gonna do this whole thing red. What do you think about that, Tony Stark? Yeah, I heard a rumor that in the new Doctor Strange movie, The Multiverse of Madness, that there's a multiverse version of Iron Man that is Tom Cruise. That's right, Tom Cruise is going to be in the new Doctor Strange movie. So that's going to be less than exciting, I think. All right. Piece of cake, they say, as they say in the okay. So now I'm going to break out. I found this neat trick for doing a gold without like losing my shadows on the face, and that is to use my go-to kind of tan contrast paint, which is called Agros Dunes. Agros Dunes is going to make it kind of look gold-ish. Then I can put gold metal on top and it looks really cool. Do. All right. All right, so that is our colors. Now we're going to do some metallic stuff because we want it to look like metal. I think Steph said that if Tom Cruise were Ant-Man, it would fit better. That's pretty funny.
That's true.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna give this just a really light metal looking dry brush, and this will be just exactly what we did with Black Widow 5 seconds ago. Where's my gray paint? There it is. We're using it more like a white highlight than a metal because we want the So we're just going to dry this gray off of the, or silver, it's runic silver, off of the, you can see already I didn't dry it enough. It's still too wet. Put a new glove on. I'm sure all you guys appreciate downtime while I change gloves, but that glove got dirty. Steph says hi, Diana.
Hi.
Diana's in the kitchen.
Where she should be.
Just hanging out on a Sunday, listening to me paint stupidity.
I'm fully supporting you from way over here.
Right?
Yes. I'm going to come in and say hi to Steph.
All right. Come on, stupid glove.
Here I come. Come on, stupid glove. We're going to fire you, stupid glove,
Whoa.
if you don't behave yourself, because we don't need you screwing up Tom's He Paints Games. Hi, Steph. What are you doing over there? Hi.
All right.
And Red Hood's still here, and Ted and everybody. You guys are hardcore. That is some good stuff. Oh, I guess I should say on the other side, but I don't know if I can get over there.
Yeah.
I see how you got it all set up.
So see, if you put too much of this on, then I'm just turning it silver. So all I'm really doing is giving it a little bit of a silver highlight. So then it looks like red metal, right? That's the way to do red metal, people.
You mean like That's
Did
Did you like that? That was red metal. I heard he was doing metal earlier. You guys, Tom's painting a zillion figures. You know, I got this for him for Christmas.
Oh, gosh.
You know, he hemmed and hawed, and he's like, I don't really think I want it. And when he said that, like on one of our dog walks, I'd already gotten it for him, and I like swear to a million different things in my interior, my internal talk. But he loved getting it. You should have seen his face. So I guess I did a thing. I guess I did a good thing. Oh, and I look so good. Look at Cap. Look at Cap. Look at Cap's shield. That looks amazing from here. See, I'm hanging out. I'm actually baking bread. I know. And I baked bread well before, we all got holed up for the last 2 years and had to make our own bread because, I don't make toilet paper, so I still go shopping and stuff, but I do just enjoy making my own bread because I like to punch stuff. I like to punch the dough down when it rises. I like to kill stuff, as you guys know. So I'm just hanging out. Tom's painting. How much more do you have? 1 more? 2 more?
1 more hero.
Whoa.
And then 5 more villains.
Oh, cool.
Then we'll be done.
Yeah. Red Hood, what happened to you? What do you mean the same thing happened to you? Someone, you were going to have fear, you're going to have FOMO or buyer's remorse, or you're like, I don't want Crisis Protocol. And then someone bought it for you and you're like, huzzah. Oh, my ex-wife said we had to be married. We couldn't just live together. Yes. That's a good one. Yeah. I see how that worked out. I see. Well, that's all right. Yeah, not much else going on. Just hanging out. Ooh, are you going to narrate now? Should I go? Oh, he kind of looks like he's doing a disco dance just a little bit. So I like you even more now, Iron Man. Hi. Oh, sold Spiderman #1 and bought an engagement ring. Then she said,
That's no good.
I thought about it. We can just live together. Well, you know what, though? That's love, baby. That is love.
That's right.
That's what I got to say about that. So,
I don't know what
do you got
what's
there?
supposed to be gold on here. I think there's just gold accoutrements.
Accoutrement. Accent, as it were.
That's right. What does it look like? Maybe this is gold?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see. Like on the what do you call those? The quads, like right here, it looks more silver and then more gold on the inside smaller part. And here as well. On the shin guards. Knee area, as it were. Oh, yeah. Forget her. You know what? She's the worst. I can't even believe she did that to you. I'm sorry. Are you going to, get another Spider-Man sometime. Spider-Man 1. Woof.
I don't know that you can do that.
I don't think you can do that. Like, I barely know what that means, and I bet that's a lost cause. Ted, crap, what did I miss? I had to fix the daughter's laptop. Last thing I saw was Black Widow being painted, and now it's Iron Man. We also, we talked about you a lot, Ted, while you were gone. Painting. That's all that happened, right? You, Black Widow, you did the hair, and then all of a sudden, you came back.
Yep.
And it's Iron Man time. Did I help you at all by holding this near you, or should I just leave?
It was okay.
See how it is? That is also love, just being honest. It was okay, babe. But you can go. All right. I see. Yeah, Red Hood says, can never get that Spider-Man #1 because of the prices. Hot. Where was this? I don't want to screw up your paints. It was over here?
Yep.
Way over here? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, then. Yeah. And, whoa. Red Hood says he had a beat up copy and replacing it in that condition now would be $6,000 or $7,000.
Yep.
What is wrong with you people? I said it. I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm just kidding. I mean, don't you want a brand new, any old copy of Spider-Man at your local neighborhood comic shop? I'm kidding. I know that you guys don't want that, but for me, I can't imagine. I'm sure you guys could talk all day about what you want to spend. Like if you're like, I would spend 6 or 7K on X. And, I can't think of anything that I would really, 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 really want so badly that I would want to spend that kind of money. What? Interviewed with CCG on Thursday and saw an Iron Man #1.
Whoa, that's cool. Yeah, the CCG is the grading system for comics. They will take your comics and
really,
and they'll assess its actual value, and then they'll put it in a really nice like sealed container and put the rating on the sealed container. And then you'll be able to resell it later if you want.
You mean like Red Hood, who spent $1,200 on his TMNT? I know that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Good job, me.
Yeah.
Let's just celebrate me for a second for knowing WTF that is. So he spent $1,200 on his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and now it's worth about $45,000. What? That's the word on the street, yo. I don't know.
45,000.
But worth, like, would you ever sell it? Because, then you could get a bunch of Spider-Man ones a bit. No, I don't know. Okay.
Well, just so you know, I had TMNT #1 when it actually came out. First printing.
Is that because you're old?
It's because I'm old. And if I would have known then what I know now.
Oh, that's what old people say. If I'd known then what I know now.
It'd be no good. All right, cool. So we got Iron Man, and he's sort of metallic, and we're going to put some blue.
Oh, it looks really cool there with the light hitting it and everything. Nice work, babes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go do something else. Bye. See you guys on Tuesday for my birthday. Don't be jerks and don't show up, because I will find you, rent a car, locate you specifically, and then come and punch you. Okay. All right, that's it. Okay, bye. Because we're doing Lost Ruins.
Tuesday's a birthday show.
Lost Ruins expansion. Whoa.
All right, cool. I think Iron Man is about done. I'm gonna put some black on his base because I kind of got messy on the red on the feet. So it's better to just cover that stuff up with black.
I hear painting, but I don't hear talking.
That's right.
I know, it's hard. You gotta concentrate over there.
Oh, I think Steph is out. Have a good one, Steph. See you later. Oh, no, she's saying bye to you.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Because you had left. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoy watching paint dry, because this is the paint dry channel. Do. All right, cool. I think that's Iron Man in the bag. All right, so to recap, we got Captain America. I need to fix his shield. I got a little messy on the shield, but other than that, he's doing okay. We've got Spider-Man. I think I need to fix one of his eyes. It's a little gloopy, but other than that, he's doing good. We got Black Widow, and she just needs a little fix on her face. The face is a little too, just needs to get blended out. Other than that, her body looks okay. And then we did Iron Man. Yep, these are definitely speed painted. They're not super pretty. Ted says, this is more exciting than some of the games we play.
Ted.
All right, let's take a look at Captain Marvel, the last of our people that we need to do. Last of the heroes, I should say. What's her deal? Well, she's got blonde hair. She's got look at that, a red, blue, and gold color scheme. How novel, Marvel. All right, so let's start with the blonde hair. What do we use for blonde hair? Well, we use yellow, iodine yellow. I love how I try to show it, but the label is off. Ted, there with Crisis Protocol, this is the base game, so there's no Daredevil in the base game. I think they tried to do Avengers versus Ultron. But there are extra people, like I got Punisher. I had to get Punisher. So this was an expansion pack. Punisher came with Taskmaster. But we're just doing the base game right now. I've got a ton of, because the coolest miniature that I've ever got is this Scarlet Witch miniature. Look at this thing.
You're welcome.
It's got like little magic going on, and I can't wait to paint this one. But this is an expansion figure. So, and she comes with her brother Quicksilver, the good old-fashioned Quicksilver, not any of this new Quicksilver hubbubaloo. So we'll be painting those later, but this is just the base box we're painting now. Yeah, Steph says her granddaughter was so upset when they cut Captain Marvel's hair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they had to make her for today's times, I guess. All right, so here's the thing. With yellow, if you put this on, this is my go-to for fire, because if you put it on kind of thick, it has yellow and turns into red. But if you want blonde hair, you got to be careful to put it on really lightly, because you don't want the red to come out. You just want the yellow. And this is a really great, like, blonde hair yellow. Super, super easy. Just like that, we got blonde hair. All right. Blonde hair in the bag. Now we're going to do her flesh. Man flesh, as they say in the Orcish language. So we do our Goldman Flesh. Now, I'm not going to put it on, again, if you put it on too heavy, then you get the problem I had with Black Widow, where it gets too much. So I definitely want to put it on as light as I can, because she's definitely a white girl. So we want to just kind of get it on there. I already got the shadows that I want from my priming method. So really, I just want to get the color out there. That's all. Just a little bit of a flesh color. We don't want it to be too dark. And she's got a back of the neck, so let's do the back of her neck. Oh, Ted says, Tom's. I said earlier I wanted to purchase Galactus from Marvel Zombies as a Zombicide game. Would you quick paint Galactus or take your sweet time? Well, I'm glad you asked, Ted, because what's been staring me in the face for the last year has been my giant Cthulhu miniature from Cthulhu Death May Die. And I definitely am going to paint that before my birthday this March. So yes, I'm going to use the my quick paint method. I want to see if it works on a big model. So if that works, then that's probably what I'll use for Galactus too. I think what you'll see that Quackalope went to this famous miniature painter named Shoshi to do his, and they oh yeah, I'm definitely painting that live for sure. We're gonna do the Cthulhu live. Oh yeah, let me get the blue out because her costume is mostly blue. So they use mostly spray paints. I'm not a big spray painter. This is why, like, normally a lot of people will even prime their models with spray paint. I used to prime my models with spray paint, but spray paint is such a pain in the ass to work with. And, you know, I'm in a small New York apartment. I can't really have fumes and things that are flammable and things that can explode or things that will go into my lungs, because I don't have any way to mitigate that exposure. So that's why I prefer to just use non-toxic acrylic paints as much as I can and not have to deal with spray painting. But I think with those larger models, I think it's cheating, but people like to just spray paint them. And so, yeah, she's got all blue pants, so we can just go straight blue on the pants. So that's where Cthulhu is going to get trickier, because I'm hand painting that bad boy. I'm going to hand paint the priming of it. I went and got like 10 bottles of tiny Citadel black paint, because I could just spray paint him black. I got a can of spray paint. I could just spray paint him black, but I think there's more love involved if you do it by hand. So I think I'm going to try to do the whole thing by hand. So that'll be a fun project. It is definitely a thing of mine to get Diana to play Cthulhu Death May Die. So I think I'm going to paint the whole base box, and then I'm going to paint the giant Cthulhu, and we're going to do a massive Cthulhu Death May Die show with her and me trying to defeat Cthulhu. So that'll be a fun one. All right. Yeah, that's the thing. I have no idea how many bottles of paint is actually going to take to paint him. So we're going to find out. But I hope it doesn't take that much, because Citadel paints are not cheap. I mean, they're not expensive, but they're like $5 a bottle. Right, there's some weird textures here, but I think I'm pretty sure that this is the line where the blue and the red don't meet. Let's put that right there, and she's definitely got blue arms, so we can do that. I think we're doing good. Because she's got red gloves, right? So we want to save some room for the red gloves. right, cool. Yes, there's definitely butt crack, but it's just a tight costume. Nothing to be too worried about. All right, let's see. This is going to go like this. It's hard to get where this color separations are, but I think I got it. This is sort of like a Wonder Woman. Where this is going to be gold. All right. Yeah, this is pretty simple color scheme. Just red, just blue, and then it's going to be red. So this is blue hands, blue arms. Cool. Good deal. All right. I think that's it for our blue. Just one last check to make sure everything is covered. Oh, see her hand here? There's a little bit of that I missed. All right, cool. Otherwise, I think that's our blue. All right, time to go to red. Now, the cool part, like I mentioned, gold really goes good over darker colors. So we can pretty much just do all of it red, and then I can just put the gold right on top of the red. So I don't have to worry so much about like not painting over the parts that are going to be gold. All right, so first things first, her sash thingy is red. Let's just make this whole thing red. This is a really weird like shape, so you got to kind of be careful not to. If you flick it too much, then the paint will like spray, and then you'll get red on the blue areas or red on other models, and you don't want that to happen. So we just go nice and easy on this. Kind of went a little too heavy, but there's a lot of nooks and crannies, as they say in English muffin terminology. Got to get in even all of that. Now, this is going to be the part that I got to be most careful about is, I don't want to get red paint on the blue. Again, it's not the end of the world, but I just would rather not have to waste more time repainting things if I don't have to. Show me the nooks and crannies. All right. This is where it gets really kind of the little areas that will hide from you that you just want to make sure to get covered. Now, some stuff like underneath the model or behind the model, it's probably not really going to be seen. So like you see that little area in there, like I'm not going to try to stick my brush down there because it's just, I know I'm going to get red on the blue. So there's no reason to bother. You can't really see it because it's behind the model anyway. All right, we know this circle thing is going to be gold, but I can just make it red for now, and I can put the gold on top of it later.
What is that?
Who is that?
No idea. What is that for?
I don't know. Someone's at the door.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, please. Hold on. Hey.
Hey, it's my cousin Jason.
Are you supposed? I'm just kidding.
No, hey, geez.
I'm just like, well, no, I didn't know you were coming. Michael, come on in.
I'm here. Hey, man.
Yeah.
I'm here. We're doing a painting show.
He's doing a paint show right now.
Cool.
Nice.
This is probably going to be the last one we do.
I had no idea.
It's my cousin's here. Now we're going to play this Crisis Protocol game.
Come here. Come in here.
All right. We got the red. There's our dog welcoming guests.
Come here. You don't be
All
silly.
right, let's get this on here. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
How's it going, Tommy? Good seeing you, man.
Good seeing you. Just trying to get this game plate painted before we play it.
Yeah, sure. No worries.
And we're on the internet right now.
What's up, Internet?
Mhm.
Did you want to be a special guest? You can just come around this way.
I'll
Right.
let Tommy do his work. Won't bother him.
Michael, stop.
All right. Ted says, damn family ruins everything.
Michael, quit.
All right, that's cool because I was about done anyway. We're just getting. This will finish all the heroes. I'll have 5 heroes painted, and what did it take? 2 hours? Yeah.
Yep, 2
So
hours. I
get
think
the
you started at
whole-
like 11:30.
Yep. So you can probably paint this whole box in 4 hours if you just go straight up. All right, do that. Do that. All right, cool. We got our red and our blue. And again, I'll probably go back and fix the flesh colors later. Last thing is gold. Let's just throw some gold on this, and then we'll be then we'll be done for today. Do the villains another day. All right, so what do we got? First things first, we got a gold dot right here. Then we've got some gold trim. So it's going to be a gold star right here. Oops, you guys can't see that. And then this ends up being a gold strip. All right, just like that, gold strip. All right, this goes around the back. Gold strip. Gold strip. Gold strip. And yeah, I think that's it. She doesn't have anything on her chest or nothing. So yeah, I might just come back and redo this, put some better flesh tone on that face, and I think we're rocking and rolling. So that's it. I think that'll be our 5 heroes that we did. Captain America, Spiderman, Black Widow, and Iron Man. Cool. So hopefully that helped everybody. And I think that's all I got today. We'll see everybody next time. Have a great day.